Yeah. Yeah. And even as I was listening to you, something that I heard that made me very curious, because it does sound like a very competitive thing to be in. And it's just like a lot. It almost sounds like you're just being judged off of who you are and like
Exactly.
who's the best representative of, whatever it is that you're representing for, whatever pageant that you're doing. So how do you balance that? Because what I see is just like you're trying to impress judges, but you also to a certain extent have to be authentic.
Mm.
So how do you balance the two? Is
You
there
know,
yeah.
I'm in the process of trying to understand that myself.
Hmm.
Trying to
Hmm.
figure out, how do I show up in the most humble and genuine way, along with these humble and genuine ways are the reasons that I want you to consider picking me. I'm still trying to figure that out, but what I am learning is to just show up. Don't put too much thought into it. Don't put too much thought into, oh, these judges are judging me. Like that's probably hard not to think about. But just remember, there are people just like you. They put their draws on the same way you put yours on.
Yep.
They're people just like we are. And I think that, it's easy for us to get like freaked out when somebody is judging you. But when you just remember that this is still a person, like a number of people already like me, let me just go in and be myself with some enhancements here and there. You're good to go.
Yeah.
I think that's what I think today. I'll
Yeah.
tell you once I bring that crown home exactly if it worked.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, anytime that you do anything that requires you to be under a spotlight of any type, there's a level, I feel like, of self-love and self-acceptance that you have to have
Oh yeah.
when
And it
you
has to
do it.
be real. It
Yeah.
has to be real because I mean, so we so easily say, "Oh yeah, I love myself. Oh yeah, I accept myself." But subconsciously, we're comparing ourselves to the next person. Like
Hmm?
even if you don't think that you are, a lot of times we are, and that's something that I know that I fell short in last year when I competed. Like even though I was focused on my race, I was still looking at somebody else's race going, "Oh, how can I do that?" Oh, but
Mm.
let me focus back on my race. Even if it was a split second, that's just enough to distract you and deter you from what you're supposed to be doing. So this go around is like blinders, like legitimate blinders, and
Yeah.
going just and giving myself permission again to walk in my authority, my authenticity, all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a very real thing to do. I was forced into that. Like even us being here right now, uh having this conversation is me doing that. In my own sense, because actually I was shy. I used to be shy, very much so. I was scared to talk to strangers. And with me doing this podcast for as long as I would do it, I was waiting for that outer validation. Like, give me the outside validation, give me the views, give me the, what I'm saying, I need people telling me that I'm doing a good job to understand that I'm doing something that's worth doing. And the
Mm,
part that I wasn't understanding was that really God was waiting for me to own it,
there it is.
like own who I was being called to be. And I
Yeah.
was waiting on everybody else to tell me it's okay to be what I was called to be.
Yep.
And it just doesn't work that way.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't. And if you're waiting for somebody to give you permission to be you, you're gonna be waiting for a very long
Very,
time.
very long time.
Because it just doesn't work that way. But then when you do it, you find just so many more. You that's how I see you get blessed when you
Mhm.
embrace it, because once you own it, it's just like, okay, now I can give you the things that are meant for you. But if you're not owning it, you're not ready.
That's a fact. That's a fact. If you're not owning it, you're not ready.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? When interactions like that come up, because like I feel like us coming together was a little serendipitous, like just you know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah,
a Facebook post, and it's just like in the comment section, here we are. Cool. But you know, but if I was still in a place where I was probably like 6 months ago, where it's just like I'm no,
yeah,
no. I can't do that, then it wouldn't have happened. I just would have looked at the message and be like, I'll come back to that in 6 months. Like, nah, it
yeah.
doesn't work like that. You gotta hop on it
Oh
and
yeah.
own it and just be comfortable with it. Because you know what I'm saying? If you want people to accept you, you have to accept you. All of you.
In its entire in your entirety. I
Mm,
mean, from your quirks to whatever, you gotta accept it. But
yeah.
not accept it with hopes that somebody else accepts you. Just accept it because you gotta accept you. Forget
Yeah.
whatever anybody else think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Because those are the things that play a subconscious role in our psyche at times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if we're basing it off other people, because like I said, I've been there where it's like somebody can tell me something where it's just like, you know, I'm a Cancer, I'm an emotional person. So if somebody is just like, oh, your emotions are too much, and I'm sitting here like, are they? You know, like then
Yeah.
then you know, like I'm second guessing myself, so now I'm suppressing, now I'm hiding, now I'm not being authentic anymore. So you know what I'm saying, it keeps you away from people who would just wholly accept you if you were just your authentic self. So it really keeps us, not accepting ourselves keeps us from getting the things that we really want out of life sometimes.
Hey, you preaching, ain't it? I'm having to jot these things down. That's a word.
You know it, and I mean like it just takes going through, it, you know, like you just learn. It's just like, okay, once you learn how to love yourself, that's when it all starts falling into place. That's when things start falling into your lap. But it starts with the you, and you can't be looking at everybody else and everybody else's story. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That is true. I mean, like that's it on the nail. That hits it right on the nail.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So